If you just bought an embroidery machine or you're about to, I want you to pause and watch this first because this is the part I did not research and it made embroidery way harder than it needs to be. Because here's the truth. Embroidery is so much more than just buying a machine and pushing a button. Hi friends. If you're new here, my name is Pamela and I'm the owner of the Master's Vine. On this channel, I share machine embroidery, laser design, and the real behind the scenes of running a creative business. Today, I want to walk you through what I wish I had known before I started embroidery, especially when it comes to supplies. Because embroidery is so much more than just buying a machine and pressing start. When I started, I spent months researching my embroidery machine. I compared brands, prices, features, all of it. And while we're on the machine topic, let me let you know, you don't have to buy the biggest and the baddest machine out there to get started. You slowly, gradually grow. And as your business grows, you can go, if need be, and get a bigger machine. But starting out, you do not need a multi-needle machine. When I first started in this business, I started with a single needle machine, and actually it was a Brother PE 770. So, and as my business grew, then I knew, and also not only as my business grew, but as I knew that I was going to stick with this, that this is something that was a calling for me to do, then I went ahead and invested in a multi-needle machine. But don't let anyone have you think that in order for you to start an embroidery business, you need a multi-needle machine or you need a machine that costs thousands of dollars, because that is not the case. Do your research, figure out which machine works best for you. For me personally, I preferred Brother. So I bought a single needle Brother machine. I also made sure that the hoop size was what I knew I needed. You don't want to go and get a 4x4 hoop size machine, because I promise you, you will outgrow that quickly. You want to get a machine that has at least a 5x7 embroidery field. And like I said, do your research. You can find them anywhere. Believe it or not, I purchased my PE 770 18 years ago, or over 18 years ago. Can you believe I bought it from Home Depot? And the reason why I picked it up from Home Depot rather than, let's say, Walmart or one of the sewing stores that was in business at the time, I wanted to get it from a place where I knew that it had a good return policy. Home Depot for me, I think the return policy back then was maybe 30 or 60 days, might have been even 90. So that gave me an opportunity to play with the machine. And if I didn't like it, I knew I could take it back. And it also gave me the opportunity to take it back to one of my local Home Depot stores. So yes, search for which machine works best for you. Like I said, I would highly recommend you get something with at least a 5x7 sewing field. 4x4 is great for doing small names and monograms and small designs, but you will find that you'll outgrow that 4x4 quickly. So get a 5x7 machine. I personally, like I said, I like the Brother. Now, PE 770s are no longer in existence. You might be able to find a used one, but I think the equivalent to it now might be a PE 800 or 880. I'm not exactly sure, but like I said, you search and do your research. Also, wherever you purchase it from, make sure you know the return policy. So if something's wrong with the machine, or if you decide you just don't want to use it, you don't want it for whatever the reason, that it's not, embroidery is not for you, at least this way you have an opportunity to return it. So, and if you want more information on embroidery machines, please just comment below on this video. But let's get back to, so like I said, I compare the brands, the prices, the feature, all of it. But what I did not research was everything embroidery actually involves beyond the machine. Things like thread, stabilizer, needles, hooping methods, fabric choices. And honestly, this learning curve hit me hard. Because I thought, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I thought when I first got into this business that all I had to do was load the design in the machine, push the button, and it was done. But very quickly, I realized embroidery is truly a craft and a skill. And once I understood that, everything started to click. So today, I want to give you a beginner's friendly overview of the essential embroidery supplies you actually will need. Not everything I bought at first. So this isn't going to be super technical. I just wanted you to have an understanding of what matters so you can start off strong. So I have my list here. And the first thing is embroidery thread. Let's start with that because all thread is not created equal. Embroidery thread is specifically designed for high-speed stitching. You cannot use regular sewing thread. It will break on you, it will shred, and it'll cause you tension issues. Do not use regular sewing thread. It is not made for embroidery machines. You'll mainly be choosing between two types of embroidery thread, polyester and rayon thread. And each one has its place. I'll be doing a full video on this, but just know this, your thread choice alone can change the quality of your entire project. Like I said, I'll dive into more of that later, but even the brand thread you pick out can make a difference. But we'll hit on that on the next video. Next thing is the stabilizer. If embroidery had a secret weapon, it would be stabilizer. Stabilizer is what supports your fabric while your machine stitches. Without the right stabilizer, your design can pucker, distort, or stitch poorly. You have tearaway stabilizers, you have cutaway stabilizers, you have washaway stabilizers, you have sticky stabilizers, you have fusible stabilizers. Once I finally understood stabilizer, my embroidery results improved dramatically. And if you're struggling with puckering, shifting, messy stitches, chances are your stabilizer choice is the problem. Now let's talk needles. I didn't realize how much embroidery needles mattered, and this is something beginners often overlook. Different projects requires different embroidery needles based on fabric type, thread type, design density. Using the wrong needle can cause skip stitches, thread breaks, poor stitch quality. Once I started matching my needles to my project, I immediately noticed smoother stitch outs. Also, needles don't cost that much. Change them out regularly. Don't do what I do or what I did. I would hold on to a needle forever until it actually broke. That's a big no-no. Needles are probably the least expensive thing, so you want to change those out regularly after a certain number of projects and a certain number of stitch counts. But needles make a big difference. You want to change them out regularly, and that's something else I'll go over with you during another video where we'll dive more into needles. Next is hooping and fabric prep. Hooping properly is one of the most important skills in embroidery. How tight your fabric is, how it's aligned, and how it's supported can make or break your final result. Poor hooping leads to puckering, shifting, crooked designs. Once I learned proper hooping techniques, my designs immediately started stitching cleaner and crisper. As I indicated, this is when I realized something really important. Embroidery isn't just pushing a button. And I'll talk to you more about hooping techniques and what I absolutely love using right now, which is my MightyHoops, which has made hooping even more easier. But you don't need MightyHoops to hoop in order to get a proper hoop. You can learn how to use the hoops that come with your machines and still get great results. So it's learning how fabric, thread, needles, stabilizers, and machine settings all work together. But once you understand those pieces, embroidery becomes incredibly fun, creative, and rewarding. So if you're brand new and feeling overwhelmed, trust me, it's normal. Take a deep breath. You'll be okay. Every single embroiderer starts out exactly where you are. So don't feel like you're not smart enough to get this or you're never going to learn, because trust me, just you, like I said in my earlier videos, you got to give yourself grace. Trust me, it'll all work out. Just stick in there. When you get your first embroidery machine, make sure you sign up with the community, and I hope my channel will be one of those. But like I said, give yourself grace. It'll all work out, I promise you. And my goal with this channel is to help make that journey less confusing, less frustrating, and way more enjoyable. So if you found this helpful, which I hope you did, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification, because I'll be breaking all of these topics down step by step. In my next video, I'll begin going deeper into embroidery thread, stabilizers, needles, hooping. I am so glad you joined me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.